All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are going to go ahead and do our end of day market analysis, but we're actually going to go ahead and do something slightly different here. We're not going to go ahead and look at the indexes themselves. We're actually going to be looking at the futures. And the main reason why is there has just been a tremendous amount of volatility as of late. And we've been seeing intraday swings between 4% down to being 5% up. And the amount of implied volatility in the markets as a whole is very high. Obviously, there's a big elephant in the room. Tomorrow is the FOMC meeting. So we're going to get a little excerpt of whether or not they are going to be raising interest rates. And potentially we might even get insights into how many interest rate hikes we will see for this year. Now, before we begin, I just want to give a little bit of personal insight. So right now, for many of us, it has not been easy, navigating this market. Personally, I am a technical trader. I'm also a long-term investor. And, many of my biggest conviction plays, companies like Coinbase, companies like Square, a lot of these positions that I own, I am hurting with them. And it's a little bit paradoxical because usually we like to believe that when the stock fundamentals are strong, there's high growth, that these stocks will just continue to move upwards. But I think times like these really show it's important to take profits, when you are up and have those price targets. But long term, do I think I'm going to be okay? Of course. And actually, I'm going to be averaging down on these positions, dollar cost averaging into them. My conviction hasn't changed. And if you are a long-term investor, I think you should actually be rejoicing because there are a lot of stocks that are at significant discounts relative to the market, relative to their industries. So please just take care of yourselves, be well, know that the storm will pass. And if you see an opportunity and you have the opportunity to deploy your capital, maybe consider taking some positions in your favorite high conviction plays. Investing is not just, buying and then selling a few months later. It's buying, holding, maybe dealing with some market volatility, maybe seeing your gains be evaporated, but still holding through because your conviction hasn't changed. And if your thesis is right, you are going to be rewarded very handsomely down the road. There's numerous examples. I think the biggest ones like Amazon during the dot-com bubble, it was trading well above $100, and I think it dropped all the way down to $6. Some people just took their loss and they exited, and I'm sure they regret it now because right now Amazon is what, like $3,000. So if your convictions have not changed, you should definitely be looking at entry points for stocks. With all that being said, we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to be referring to the weekly timeframes for all of these futures charts. And we do have some stocks we're going to go over as well and some cryptocurrencies. So I'll let you know if the chart time frame differs, but for the most part, we're going to focus on the weekly, and I'll show you why. So first up, we have the S&P 500. Yesterday, massive move down, and then we had a complete V-shaped recovery. Most people ended in the green. We managed to hold that weekly 50 SMA. Now, why am I talking so much about this weekly 50 SMA? Well, it has to do with the fact that the last time that we broke below the weekly 50 SMA was March of 2020. And then we were down for a couple of months. And by May and June, we had managed to regain the weekly 50 SMA. We've been trading above it ever since June of 2020. So now that we are coming back to test this critical level, it is definitely something we need to keep an eye on. If we do break below this, I will say, if we break below 42.19, the low of that candle, then we could be looking at a test of our 23.6% extension. That would put us around 39.88. That's another 300 point drop. So just be aware of that. That's something I'm watching closely. But if the news that comes out tomorrow is relatively okay, the markets digest it well, then I think we could potentially see some sideways trading. Maybe we form a range here, and then we could potentially move upwards and continue towards new all-time highs. So that is definitely the level to watch. this weekly 50 SMA. If we break below this, we do have more downside. Okay, we have been trading in a channel. I'm going to go ahead and actually draw it for you. We've been trading in this channel really since beginning of the pandemic. Oops, let's see if I can fix that. Apologize, I am on my laptop and I don't have my big monitor to help me out here. So I will just do my best here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and redraw that. Go ahead and do something like that. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is the channel. You can clearly see we broke below it. So we are out of that channel. Now we're testing this critical level of support. We have to hold this week. If we do not hold this, expect to move lower. Okay, moving on. We're going to take a look at the Nasdaq. Very, very similar situation. I'm actually going to go ahead and draw a channel as well. So if I go ahead and let's see, where's my parallel channel? Boom, sweet. So look, March of 2020, we tested that weekly 200 SMA. We have not tested that since March of 2020. So do I think we're going to go that low? Most likely not. I don't think so. But I will show you there is another level that I do think that we could test. Okay, it's actually, see, top of channel support would broadly be about, yeah, I'd say about right there. Okay. So yeah, broke that channel as well. Very, very similar situation. If we do not hold, let's see, where is it? Yeah, if we do not hold 13,713.5, we could see a move lower. Next major level of support would be our 161.8% extension. That would be around 12,884.7. So, that would be, want to say roughly about a 1,400 point drop from here. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on for as well. Notice that for tech, we are trading below that weekly 50 SMA. So this chart is a little bit more bearish. That's kind of why I have a little bit of a bearish leaning the broader markets right now. Long term, I think obviously we're going to be fine, but this is definitely something to keep an eye out for. If we do manage to recover and finish above this weekly 50 SMA, that will be a very, very good sign, but we would still be looking at a lower high. So we would probably need to see some more sideways action. Maybe we'd want to see our RSI cool off and stabilize a little bit. Maybe if we could get a push to 50 and kind of hold, then we can make the move upwards. So that is kind of what I'm betting on. But yeah, just keep an eye on this as well. Please, 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 especially keep an eye out for 14,704. If we cannot break that weekly 50 SMA, I think we're going to see a move lower. Okay, so Russell 2000. This one is very, very interesting. And the reason why is because for the entire year, more or less, it's just been, for the entirety of 2021, essentially, I've just been in this broader range right here. And, we broke below the range. But what's interesting to know is we did finish our ABCD pattern, and we actually saw a bounce off the weekly 100 SMA. So the weekly 100 SMA, the last time we tested this level was actually around November of 2020. And that was then we had that massive, massive move up all the way till about February and March. And then obviously we dumped. But, this is definitely a level I'm watching. We're far from out of the trenches, but if we can hold this level, maybe we move a little sideways for a little while, form a stage 1 base. I think we definitely will be in a good position. And there are so many names, the small cap, mid cap growth stocks that have just been absolutely crushed, that are trading, I would argue, at a discount relative to the broader market. So this could be a very, very good opportunity in the making. This is definitely a chart I am going to be watching tomorrow. We have to hold 1911.1. If we do not, we could see a move probably towards the low 1800s. If that support doesn't hold, I think we're going to test potentially, I want to say the weekly 200 SMA could be something we could test. If not, we are probably looking at a stronger support, probably around 1644.5. Do I think we're going to get that low? Probably not. It really just depends on market reaction to tomorrow. Okay, so we have the VIX. Personally, I don't really trade the VIX, but the reason why we always keep an eye out, on the VIX is because it gives us a really good idea of broader market volatility. I'm personally someone who plays a lot of options, and markets obviously been very volatile, and that means much higher premiums for options. So usually when premiums are high, that's kind of when you want to sell options. So maybe selling puts if you're long on a stock could be a good idea. Not financial advice, of course, but maybe this is a time where you could take an equity position, and then if things kind of stabilize and move up, then you could maybe convert that into a leap per se. But again, we're just watching VIX here. We did break above 30, but if you notice, we fell right back down. So technically speaking, VIX is making a lower high. So probably I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow we might retest this level. If we retest 31.82, and maybe even make a push up to about 32, 33, and we fail to break out, then I think we will be in a much better position, because I think we'll see VIX come all the way down to probably the weekly 200 SMA, weekly 100 SMA. And if we can't hold that, then probably drop down to the lower 20s. Ideally, we want to get that VIX back below the weekly 200 SMA. If we can do that, I think we'll be in a relatively good position, and that might be the time to start adding to some leap positions. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I'm just want to preface, I was wrong. I thought the bottom would have been $41,000 to $42,000. That did not hold. So right now, I am actually just scouting a lower high right now. Personally, for me, I think I am very, very comfortable adding around $31,696. If we can test a weekly 100 SMA, I will layer in hard. If we can test it and hold it, we will be in a very, very good position. Personally, for me, I see Bitcoin as a long-term investment, at least minimum 3 to 5 years out. I think it is the hedge against inflation. I think it will be the new store of value. Adoption in the broader crypto space is mirroring that of internet adoption in the 80s and 90s and 2000s. I think this could be the next big thing. But that being said, we have to just be data driven. There's a lot of good right now. There's a record low supply of Bitcoin on exchanges. Miners were heavily accumulating around a $40,000 mark. And we have yet to see sovereign wealth funds get in on this. Big institutional money is rolling in. That's kind of why we've been seeing Bitcoin move with the stock market. That's just kind of what happens whenever you have these institutional money flows start to move in. You're going to see more and more assets kind of correlate. Personally, that is not, I shouldn't say personally, but that's actually not necessarily a good thing. And the reason why is, while institutional adoption is going to be what gets Bitcoin out into the mainstream, you don't want to see Bitcoin correlate with the stock market or with other markets. You want to see it be an uncorrelated asset class. And the last time we actually saw Bitcoin kind of move with the stock market was actually March of 2020. But historically speaking, Bitcoin is still the better hold compared to the S&P 500 or even just physical gold. So I remain very bullish on it. Nothing fundamentally has changed. I'm actually very, very excited to potentially buy some more Bitcoin at a lower price. So that is definitely something I'm going to be keeping an eye out for, and I think you should too. Oh, sorry about that. I had myself muted. We're going to go ahead and move on to Ethereum. Obviously, Bitcoin, very, very bullish on long-term store of value, but Ethereum is really what's going to build, our digital ecosystem of sorts. I have a very, very big position in Ethereum as well. Personally, I haven't added, the last time I added to Ethereum was probably around $1,500. But it will be interesting to see if Ethereum can hold this level of 2,100 and even the natural support at $2,000. If we can, I think we potentially could see a move back up to 3,000. That's going to be the next big level of resistance because it's also under the weekly 50 SMA. So definitely a level to watch. I do want to note our RSI, our relative strength, is starting to approach oversold conditions. We're not there yet. We need to drop a little bit more. I do want to caution you all, we could see our RSI move up a little bit and stabilize. And, we could potentially even test this weekly 50 SMA, and then we could just see a complete move lower. It could be a bull trap. Just please keep an eye out for that. However, if you are looking to invest for the long term, dollar cost averaging is going to be your way. Don't deploy all of your capital at once. Maybe just do increments every week. And I think you're going to be okay. Then say we get to, hypothetically, if we drop to this level around 1,700, look at how strong this level of support has been. So after that May crash, we bounced off once, twice, 3 times. So if we get a 4th bounce off of here, I think, based off historical trends, we should be in a very, very good position to bounce. I haven't added any Ethereum, as I said, since 1,500, but if I did want to add, this would be the level that I would layer in pretty heavily on. Very, very bullish on the long-term prospects of Ethereum. Obviously, gas fees have just been killing the transaction volume on the network, but I hold Ethereum and I hold many decentralized apps built on it, including ones like Chainlink and Aave. Okay, Solana. So this is kind of my crypto darling. This is one of my favorite projects. I know it gets a lot of hate. I know there's a lot of criticism with Solana regarding venture capital, regarding the network centralization. I do think these are completely valid concerns, but in the long run, I think that they will be addressed. And, Solana has just had absolutely explosive growth, massive adoption. I've used some of the, decentralized applications on it. I think they're absolutely fantastic. And I really, really remain bullish on this project. I've been buying since $24. I think my average price was about $35, and then I even was buying in the 130s, 140s, 150s. Very, very bullish on this project. Nothing has changed. I am a little bit concerned about some of the congestion the network has been having as of late. But that being said, I think that they will be able to address that. And actually, that congestion is a good sign to me because it is showing that there is a lot of growth on this. And I think until Ethereum can figure out its scaling issues and get its gas fees under control, Solana will continue to take market share. So yes, very, very bullish on Solana. And if you notice, actually, we have fallen out of this channel. And I do want to note, I am actually on the daily chart. And the reason why I'm on a daily chart is because on the daily chart, if you notice, we've actually fallen out of our Bollinger Bands. Now, my Bollinger Bands have a length of 102 standard deviations. And notice how we've actually fallen outside of them. So this is just absolutely oversold. This is the lowest RSI we've seen basically since August of 2021. Absolutely oversold here. Could we go lower? Sure, it's possible. But if you don't have a position in Solana, this would not be a bad zone to add into at all. Remember, Solana had a high of about $259. My personal long-term price targets for Solana have it as somewhere between $300 to $500 for the bull cycle. It might take a longer to get to that because obviously we've had a little bit of a downturn here, but very, very bullish on it. Now, just know I'm kind of going off the fundamentals on this one, actually similar to the other projects. But technically speaking, yes, we are very, very oversold here and we are due for a bounce. But do note that we do have quite a bit of overhead resistance, especially once we start to hit $110, $112. getting back to $140 is going to be the big deal. So if you just want to trade, maybe you take an initial starter position here, and you could trade it up to the daily 200 SMA. I am on the daily chart here. Alrighty, and then we have Coinbase. So now we're going on to some individual equities that I'm really watching. I've been very, very bullish on Coinbase. I love Coinbase. I love the company's mission. I think they're going to get crypto to the average, retail investor. I think they're also going to help be, an on-ramp for institutional adoption and even government adoption. Coinbase, compared to the other exchanges, has done a very, very good job of, courting the U.S. government, lobbying, for crypto interests. And, they're very, very transparent, very, very well respected. I think they're a clear leader in the space, even if they're not the biggest exchange. So really, we're on a daily chart here as well, because we've just been trading in this channel and noticed that we've actually broken below this Bollinger Band, but we have not broken below this channel. Historically speaking, the bottom of the channel is the best place to add. And, from a fundamental perspective, Coinbase does have earnings coming up. And I want to say about a month and a half. I have actually taken a position on Coinbase. I already have, long-term leaps on them, but I took a small vertical spread position, very, very minor, because, who knows, if Bitcoin does move lower, we could see Coinbase drop further. But I did do a debit spread position where I've actually done an out of the money debit spread. I don't usually do that, but I just think that Coinbase is so significantly oversold and is trading at such a discount to the broader market. I mean, look at this. You have an RSI on the daily in the 20s. You're at the bottom of a channel. You're outside your Bollinger Band with 2 standard deviations. And actually, if we go right here, I've even brought up the shout out to QuickFS, by the way. These guys are great. Fantastic team. I'm not sponsored by them, but I love their product, and it's great for just retrieving key statistics. I mean, you have a PE ratio for a cryptocurrency company, a PE ratio of only 16.9, price to book of 9.4, price to sales of 8.5. Absolutely insane revenue growth quarter over quarter. They're extremely profitable. Sure, the moat might not be the best, but they are just an absolute cash machine, and they're going to keep seeing growth as crypto sees more adoption. I just cannot see how this is not a absolute bargain. And this is a growth stock, by the way, that has these metrics, a growth stock that's really in like supreme value territory. So this actually makes me very, very excited. Not financial advice, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to start taking a position here. Maybe even some leaps out to 2023, 2024 wouldn't be bad, because this just a few months ago was trading at $360. This could be a $400 stock down the road. The fundamentals definitely point towards it. This is one that I'm very, very bullish on, and it makes me honestly really excited to see it at this price level. So just keep an eye on that. Another company that I'm watching is actually Silvergate Capital. So what they do is they have a Silvergate exchange network. It's basically an on-ramp for institutional crypto adoption. And it has a very, very interesting stock because it is essentially a crypto bank. And if I'm not mistaken, they can take Bitcoin as collateral. And because they do that, their stock price is extremely correlated to the price of Bitcoin. So if you see Bitcoin dip, chances are Silvergate Capital will dip. But what's weird is it's also a bank, so it also kind of moves with the banks as well. So, with interest rate hikes, I think this could be an interesting play because it has the benefits of both being involved in crypto, but also the benefits of kind of being a bank as well. And, they've been profitable for like the last 21 years. They're very, very well known, good reputation. In terms of where we could go on the chart, I have an alert set for 81.63. If we get a wick down on Bitcoin, I will be scooping up shares on this. This made a high of $239. Absolutely unreal. Many price targets from different analysts were looking at $300 to $400. I personally think this could easily retake $200 in a crypto bear market, crypto bull market, I should say. And if we look at some of the fundamentals here for Silvergate Capital, I mean, their loan to deposit ratio is not the best. Ideally, we want to see that be higher. But I mean, revenue is extremely solid. EBITDA is very, very solid. If we look at their market capitalization, I'm just look at this absolute massive growth. Price to earnings is a little bit inflated, especially relative to other banks. But from a price to book and a price to sales perspective, I think this is a very, very solid play. So this is also one that I am definitely watching. Another one I'm watching is actually a little bit of a different one. It's actually Dutch Bros. So I'm not really sure how familiar you might be with Dutch Bros coffee, but here in the West Coast, California, Oregon, it is very, very big. It's growing. It has honestly a cult like following. It's very, very well known. It's especially the major demographic for this is also younger people under the age of 25, which could be a good or bad thing, but it's definitely hip. It's definitely what the youngins are getting their coffee from. And compared to Starbucks, this is just having absolutely massive growth. One thing that I am watching here, so if you notice, we made a high of $80, and we ended up moving all the way down in this stage 4, as a stage 4 move down. And then we broke out and have been trading sideways. So since December, we've just been trading sideways. So we're forming a stage 1 base here. Now, if we can break above this daily 50 SMA, so above 50.37, I am considering taking a position here. If we can break above it and say we could retake the 23.6% retracement, I would be very, very comfortable taking a position here. This is definitely one that would also diversify my portfolio more, just away from financial services and cryptocurrency related companies and tech. This is a coffee company, completely different, but I love the fundamentals of this company, and I think if we can break this level and hold, I think this is a growth stock just waiting to rip. And let's go ahead and take a look at the quick FS right here. So, from a price to sales perspective, 6.3, fantastic. Price to book of 10.8. The revenue growth has been very, very solid. Gross profits have been increasing, relatively speaking. And let's take a look at their cash flow. So I do want to note, it looks like because they did go public, because they did, IPO recently, some of their metrics might look a little off. But, relatively speaking, very, very healthy company, lots of growth ahead. And I'm very, very excited for them. And so one more we have is Teledog Health. This one, we took a position in the low 90s to 100s. Because we were testing the weekly 200 SMA. Yes, the weekly 200 SMA. And, we did not hold. And right now we are actually insanely oversold on the weekly chart. This is not the daily chart. This is the weekly chart. We have a weekly RSI of 22, and we are outside our Bollinger Band bottom. Like, this is just insane for me. But reason why I'm watching this is we are at the bottom of our channel support. It could be a good position to add. I have a leap going out to 2023. I'm considering averaging down on that. They have tons of free cash flow. I think they have a compound annual growth rate well above 25%. And they have very, very strong guidance going forward. Telehealth, obviously the moat is not very big there. You have competitors like Doximity, but Teledog Health is a clear first mover. They have massive amount of market dominance, and I think this could definitely be a good long-term position. And it's not just me; it's others like Kathy Wood. I know Teladoc is definitely one of her biggest positions. I've personally used Teladoc, and it's been very, very nice to have your doctor's appointment just from your comfort of your own room. And if I want to take a look right here, if we notice their free cash margins steadily been increasing, and their revenue has been increasing, relatively speaking, quarter over quarter. But what I really like is their gross profits quarter over quarter have just been absolutely nuts. And yes, there has been a little bit of share dilution, but I think they're still in a very, very good position. The free cash flow just been increasing like crazy. And if we look at this from price to book, the price to book is literally 1.27. Price to sales of 10.9. Price to earnings, they're still not fully profitable. So that's something to keep an eye out for. But very, very big bargain. So this concludes our little market analysis here. Apologize for the length of the video. Just know that tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to hear from the Federal Reserve regarding interest rate hikes. I do want you guys to remember that things could get volatile. You might see massive drops and then massive swings upward. Just be data driven and add to your high conviction plays, and it's going to be all right. Okay. Take care, be well, and be safe. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do want to join our Discord server, the link will be in the bio to Stock Explaining. I do want to note that we actually have paused payments for everybody who is in the Discord, just because right now there's a lot of volatility. A lot of people's portfolios are hurting. We don't think it's fair to charge people, during these times. And so, we will always be fully transparent. Our goal is to just help you get that trading edge and, maximize your alpha. We're all in this together. We're all learning together, and, we all want to succeed together. So, we really have your best interest at heart, and, we will get through this all. All right. So take care, be well, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.